it's Robin, Art Silent Crafts, and welcome to my studio. This is my Whip It Wednesday video where I show you the crafty goodness that I've been working on. Huge thank you to everyone who hung out with me while we worked on the mini pumpkins for my recent live stream and for everybody that caught the replay. I was working on the mini pumpkins by Cluck Cluck Sew. I just thought this was such a fun pattern. I love the orange fabrics, especially at this time of the year or coming into, because as crafters we tend to work a few months ahead. Now we worked on the pattern by Cluck Cluck Sew, which is the mini pumpkins as I stated. There is a larger full-size quilt pattern. I don't remember if it's just a lap quilt or something larger for a bed, but you can check it out and see. When I was looking on Saturday at the Cluck Cluck Sew website, her shop was temporarily out of order or whatever, but you can find this pattern on Missouri Star. Use my affiliate link down below and you spend over $50, you'll get a 20% discount. Restrictions do apply, of course, on things that are on super sale or some of the larger items like the furniture and sewing machines and Jenny's box, etc. But I did see this pattern there. My pumpkins are still looking a little chunky. They're not of the rounded shape yet like you see in the pattern because I did not have a background fabric that I liked. If you watched the live stream, I'd chosen a medium dark gray with dark gray polka dots. That was the only gray that I had in enough length because you need at least 3/4 of a yard of fabric. So in case you want to check it out, these are usually on all the websites when you look at the pattern so that you can order fabric at the same time you order the pattern. I did not have 3/4 of a yard of one gray, and the light to medium grays I had, they weren't working well together. And we all voted and we didn't like the bright white background. So as soon as the video was over, the live stream ended, I went on to Missouri Star, of course, and I found some Moda Grunge in the gray paper. And it wasn't super light and it wasn't too dark, so I'm hoping that's going to work because one way or the other, that's what I'm going to use. I just really liked it with the gray background. I also like the green binding, but I'm sure I can come up with something and just make it scrappy because the pumpkins are scrappy, my binding can be scrappy. I do have a small amount of green stripes, so I might be able to try that also. I had a lot of fun working on this project, and I think I'm going to go ahead and make a second version. I'm not sure if I'm just going to maybe do the patchwork pumpkins and make it a little bit smaller because this one is 23.5 by 29. And that's going to be great to hang up on the wall, but I'd like to put this one in the shop and maybe make something a little bit smaller for myself. But what I like to do is I like to just check out on my mat here because 23.5 by 29 sounds large to me, but when I take my finger along my mat, this is 29 right here, and my mat is 24 inches wide. So it would just be from what you can't see from here all the way up, and that's really not as big as I pictured in my head. This is why it's dangerous for me to order certain things online. I have to break out the tape measure because I can't visualize the numbers in the realistic what it would be like in my room. I always keep a tape measure on hand just to double check those things. So I might just go ahead and make a second one very similar to this using similar fabrics so I can have one here and one of you can have a matching one that will end up in the shop. This one specifically will go in the shop, so if you want to go ahead and call dibs on it, as soon as the fabric comes in, I'm going to cut it up, but we're not going to finish this until we work through it on the live streams. I asked everyone that showed up and they all wanted to keep working on this project during our live streams. So our next live stream is Saturday the 17th, 11 a.m. Arizona time. And at that point, we'll go ahead and I will already have all the gray bits cut. We'll make the stems and the leaf part and sew this into a quilt top. And I don't think I'll really vote for another live stream after that, but if you guys want to see me quilt it and bind it, I can go ahead and do that in just like a time-lapse video. Something like that would probably have a very calm music in the background. I know I don't use a lot of music on this channel, but if you're just going to sit there and watch me free motion quilt a project, then we might need to have a little music in the background. We all know I can talk for a while, but talking and free motion quilting is not the best idea for me. There are my stems and my leaves. I did choose the same fabric for all of my stems, and I just went into my green scraps to choose a variety of leaves. I didn't want to have all of the leaves be the same, but I did like the idea of having one thing besides the background to go ahead and be the same fabric and the same color, and I thought doing that for the stems would be fun. I also showed a little teaser of the project that I started working on prior to sewing all the pumpkins. This was basically a weekend project. It took all of Sunday and a good part of Saturday. These are witch's hat. Now I saw on Art Fire Fabrics. Okay, it's right down here. I just keep thinking of Art Fire, that old Etsy type shop that I just got that stuck in my head. It's Art Gallery Fabrics. I knew it. I could get there. I'm going to put a link down below in the description box to their blog post where it has the pattern for this, and I believe you can also watch the little tutorial video. Now, it's not much of a tutorial video. This is pretty much of a, you need to know what you're doing, and here, let me just show you real quick. I'm not going to show you everything because the video is less than a minute long, I believe. Now, this is supposed to be the main part of the witch's hat, and then you put a little string through it and it hangs like a garland or bunting. So you make one for the outside and one for the inside. You put these two together, you sew around them and you flip them. You kind of have the idea, right? And then they go together like this so that you have the black on the bottom and it goes like this and it hangs. But as I was making all of these and I wanted to make 3 sets of 6 to put into my Etsy shop, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm making an awful lot of these. I had to make 36 of these different hats. And I started to think that witches' hats are black anyways. What if I left these all the right way? I put a little stuffing in and I make a round bottom without the hole using the pattern just so that it has something to sit on like that. And then you can hang them from the garland so that they're in different color order like this. So you have the black hats and then you have the other ones. I thought that might be fun. What do you think? Tell me if I'm totally crazy. Now for the tops, I did use the same star fabric. I thought it might glow in the dark, but it doesn't, but it's still a fun fabric. These fabrics do glow in the dark. I think this one, the spider web or the white of the candy corn glows, and on this one, the actual spider web glows. These need to sit out in the sun. When you have the glow in the dark fabrics, they need to sit out in the sun or in a white light like I have here on my table. This is just from the Hey Boo collection. It's a really popular new Halloween collection right now. And yes, they do have it at Missouri Star. This is where I picked it up from. They have the pinks and the greens and they have the blacks, and I thought that would be fun. We're back to some of the glow in the dark ones. I used 2 of each print, I believe. So we have 2 candy corn. That's a pumpkin. Here's another green one of non-glow in the dark. There's some owls. And this has witches' hats on it already. More of the Hey Boo in the pinks. I thought it's really fun to have all of those pinks. It seems like pink is a really popular color for Halloween this year. Here's some pumpkins and then another spider web. So the glow in the darks each have 2 of each, and then in this collection I just used 6. So I thought I would separate it by the Hey Boo and then the glow in the dark ones. But now if it sounds like a good idea to you, I will go ahead and do them separate, and then maybe I will do 3 pinks in one, 3 greens in the other, and then I'll just split these up so that we don't have any duplicates. What took me the longest, and I think if I were to make more of these, I would just sew it by hand, is you start out by sewing this cone down, and you make the top of the hat shape, and you cut out these donuts, and then you have to put these 2 together, and you have to put this little bit in your sewing machine and stitch all the way around. I ended up using some school glue to glue all the seams in place. I held it with my little quilting clips, and after it dried, then I went ahead and I just stitched around, and little by little by little. But for the amount of time it took me to do everything, I could have just whipped this down myself and had the two of them. I really do like the way that these are all ruffly and ripply like that. I think that is really the way a witch's hat looks. But once these two go together, I know I just stuck them the wrong way, and then you stitch them together, I think that will hold them a little bit more flat. But the fact that having the stitch all the way around like that, I think that's what caused mine to ripple a little. But again, it works really well for a witch's hat. They do have, I think the person that designed these also designed a adult size hat, a version that you can make and sew up. I saw a lot of those online in the last few months also. I think these, even without them being in a garland or bunting, however you want to call it, I think they would be fun just sitting out on a table with maybe a, when we work on that fabric pumpkin trick-or-treat bucket, you could put the pumpkin bucket there and put the witch's hat around it. And then you can make it any color you want. You can even make this out of felt. Now they had theirs with regular quilting fabric and they quilted in a crosshatch. I did like the quilting lines on it, but I used fusible fleece for mine. I thought that was a much easier and quicker option. And afterwards I thought, maybe next time I wouldn't even bother quilting them because the fusible fleece holds it nicely. You could also just use some interfacing to keep the fabric in that shape that you need it to be. So what I'm really leaning towards is to just put some pillow stuffing in here, put the circle on the bottom. I ordered some 1/8 inch ribbon, some black ribbon to go and put up through here. So I'd already stitched all the black hats. I was just going to put some ribbon up here so it would be stitched in when I sewed up the seam. But I had already made all the black hats and they didn't have any ribbon. And if I want to alternate them, then that won't work very well. So I got the 1/8 inch ribbon. I can tie it in a knot, put a little dab of glue in there, pull it up, because you only need just a little bit so you can run some type of embroidery floss, sewing thread, string, yarn, whatever. I do have some cording, but I have to check and see if I have anything that would fit the theme, because I know I have like white and pink and green and stuff like that. So I have to see what I have in black. Otherwise I might just have to pick up some ribbon before I put them in the shop. So I was thinking something like this. Do you think that would work, hanging for the garland, having 6 like that and having them alternate? When you purchase a garland from me or bunting, banner, something like that, you can always rearrange. I keep everything separate. I send you whatever the decoration is, and then I have a little baggie, or I put a little ribbon or the twine, whatever I'm sending to you. Maybe I'll put a little string around it to hold it into just a little bit, so then you can go ahead and connect them yourself, because it's a lot easier to ship items if I can lay them flat and they're not all strung together, because you don't want to have the cording or anything get tangled up in shipping. Okay, that's enough with the witch's hat. Let's see my last project. I do have to say it's been fun seeing them sitting on my desk all stacked up like this. I emptied out one of my project bins, so now I put a new project in it, and this is the little gnome. This is called Wanda the Witch Gnome. It's one of the items that I picked up last month from Missouri Star for the affiliate package. And she turns out to be 6.5 by 10 inches if you follow their basic directions. I decided that Wanda needed to have a little bit of a green background here. So my Wanda is about 11 by 14. The green is not quite that bright. It's about this color. That's pretty accurate. Does look pretty good looking down like that on my phone. This is the applique project. It comes with the pre-cut fusible applique and the finished drawing. So inside here, it has the basic layout for where you put all the pieces. I've done a few of these projects now and they're fun. Maybe the next one I have a simple sewing machine one or a dragonfly or something, I believe, that one of you shared with me. We'll do that on a video, or I'll do that on a video one time so that you guys can see how it goes. Wanda here has a lot of pieces and you have to do a lot of layering. So you have the boots and the little cuffs and the pants, and these are her hands, and then you've got the broom that goes under both the cuff and the shoe, and that's what the layout diagram helps you with. This piece is separate, this one's separate. And then you have different parts, and there's usually like a slit where you have to tuck different pieces in. But it's a really great project because you're not choosing the fabrics, you're not cutting anything out. These are already all cut out. You just have to separate one little snip here and there to get them apart. And her outfit, the purple with the black polka dots, it's almost like a flannel. It's fuzzy. I don't think you'll ever be able to see it unless you might be able to tell. But if you were to go ahead, I'm going to put this in my shop when it's finished. If you were to purchase it, you'd be able to feel that those are a little bit raised and a little bit fuzzy feeling. Now there are 2 buttons in there, so I still need to do the spider. But for Wanda, what I did is I quilted the background first, and then I went ahead and I fused the appliques on, and I stitched it down using the purple glow-in-the-dark thread. So she may or may not glow just a little bit. It all depends on how much the thread gets charged and what it feels like doing. I haven't finished it yet because I want to show a tutorial on how to make the little corner hanging sleeves, so you can put a dowel rod in there and hang it up from, you can hang it from a tack or a pin in the wall or whatever you might happen to have. Maybe you want to use a command strip or something like that. Normally I just put the little poster putty on the back of it. I showed it, I think, during the live stream or a previous video. I bought the Gorilla Glue version of it, but some people like to actually hang it and not just put the tacky putty on it. So I wanted to go ahead and do that and show you how to do it. And I'm thinking that her binding is going to be the black and white striped because that's just kind of a witchy thing. And I think that should look pretty nice on there. I usually just take a couple of clips and clip it on so that I can look at it in the actual size there and what it's going to be. Or you can even just lay it down like that to give yourself a little bit of an idea. And I think with the narrower strip like that, that's going to look really nice going all the way around for the binding. Here's my little buttons. I love that they send everything you need to do the actual applique version. Of course, you have to provide the background and the batting and the backing and all of that stuff, but I don't have to worry about all the little doodads and if it needs to have buttons or little pieces of anything. So there again is the same polka dot fabric. I do have a couple yards of this, so I'm going to keep using it for Halloween items because I think it works out really well. So the whole country caboodle, Missouri Star has several of these different patterns. I did see that they had a gnome for like all the seasons, and they had different projects like this that you can work on that's like not gnome or holiday related. And there might have been something I saw for like a gnome of the month or something. I don't really recall. Follow my affiliate link. It doesn't cost anything just to click on a link and go over and look and see what's there, and then you can decide if you want something or if you just want to be like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool, that's fun. Sometimes I like to just do a little window shopping. It can be dangerous, but it can be fun. I did not have a project bin for my pumpkins, but it also didn't need to have one of these large bins. When it's a live stream weekend, I really don't have a lot of free time to hunker down and work on projects all weekend. So when I have a non-live stream weekend, it's really great for me because I try my best not to do anything businessy on the weekend. I do sew for Etsy because that's just sewing and it's still fun, and Etsy is just a good way for me to find homes for all the fun things that I sew. And I really like when I make something and I spend a little bit of time on it, and I know that one of you guys enjoy what I make and that it's going to go to a good home. Because if I were to make this and keep it myself, I do like the green with the purple and black, but I'm not really sure if that's something. I mean, I would hang it on my wall, of course I would, but a lot of the things I make would probably just end up sitting in a plastic bin, like a Rubbermaid tub, and it would just sit there and never be seen by anyone, including myself. So I really like it, and I appreciate when you guys purchase things from my shop and give my little crafty goodness a new home. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't do anything for Halloween, or you really don't celebrate Halloween in your countries or in your family, but scrappy word for today will be Halloween, and you can tell me you don't celebrate Halloween or you don't decorate for Halloween, or you can let me know one of your 1 or 2 favorite items that you do put up for Halloween. I don't have one. With the move, I really got rid of a lot of things, some of the older items. I do have a stuffed pumpkin with scarecrows on it from a panel that I purchased on eBay years ago. I love to bring that out in the fall, and it stays out through Halloween and Thanksgiving. But the thing I see online a lot that I really like is when people go out into their backyard and they grab a branch and they spray paint it black and they stick it in a bucket, and then they like hang decorations and ornaments from it and lights on it. That is really nice. I did see online that the Dollar Tree has their autumn and Halloween items out, and they have a small little, I think they're like 12 inches tall maybe, a black tree. I want to say Christmas tree, but it's a Halloween tree, and the plasticky leaf part, however you want to look at it, the main part of it is a black tree, and they have a lot of ornaments. So even if you're not going to use one of those trees, I was watching the Deal Guy here on YouTube. I'll put a link to him down below in the description box if I don't forget. And he does the what you should be buying at the Dollar Tree this month, what you should buy at Costco this month. Hey, let's go to Sam's this month. Let me show you the deals. And they had a lot of, he was at the Dollar Tree recently, and they had a lot of, it looked like good sized round ornament balls, and some of them were like eyeballs. So even if you're not going to put a tree, if you're going to do something for a classroom or for your kids or just for yourself, it might be worth it to check out your local Dollar Trees. Remember, you might have to check more than one because they all have different items, and I think it would be really fun. I think I'm going to pick up a set or 2 of the Halloween ornaments if I can find them in one of my stores here. I don't have as many local Dollar Trees here in Surprise, Arizona compared to Florida. So your scrappy word is Halloween. And speaking of Florida, I hope everyone is doing well. They got hit with that hurricane, and it was a water rainmaker. There was big storm surge that flooded a lot of areas. So all of our Florida peeps, if you want to check in and let us know how you're doing, I hope everyone is back to their homes and they had a home to go back to. I know where we used to live, I haven't checked like the neighborhoods, but the beaches and everything, they did get a lot of water. But the hurricane actually made landing up in the Big Bend or the Great Bend. So Florida has that top part and it comes down. So right up in there, up in the Cedar Bend area, they got hit with the last hurricane pretty hard, and they got hit again. So there is a lot of flooding up there. So I hope you guys are working on something great this week. Come back for Friday. I have no idea what video I'm putting up, but I'll have something fun for you. I'll see you then. Bye.